Und wenn ich jetzt gleich, Mr. Prodi, would you please join us here on stage? Und auch Herr Professor Berger, wir möchten jetzt
And Professor Berger, please. We would now like to confer the Roland Berger Human Dignity Awards to these outstanding personalities. Let me ask you to come on stage.
Of the Jesuit Refugee Service, Dr. Katrine Camilleri. From Eritrea. Congratulations. The director of the NGO Gandhi, Dr. Alganesc Fessaha. And from the Democratic Republic of the Congo and from Germany, for Petite Flamme, Co-Director Mrs. Dada Diambu. Die Gründerin und langjährige Leiterin Frau Dr. Monika Maria Wolf und den
Founder and long-standing Director Dr. Monika Maria Wolf and former Admiral Dr. Henning Bess.
Bitte schön. Congratulations. Hallo. Vielleicht, weil Sie so groß sind, ein bisschen weit. No, come here. So, Frau Camilleri, the first one who will get the prize. Here, please. Mr. Prodi, you will start. Mrs. Camilleri. Das ist Marion, die Preisüberreicherin.
This is Marion, who will actually hand the award to us. This is the big certificate.
This is for you.
Mrs. Fessaha, Professor Berger.
Professor Berger.
Please, this is only paper. The real thing is
Und der Minister, Herr Steinmeier. Petite Flamme, vielleicht kommen Sie nach vorne.
And Minister Steinmeier for Petite Flamme, please come here.
So, congratulations to you all. Die Hohen Herren haben ihre wichtige Aufgabe getan. Vielen herzlichen Dank.
Well, the gentlemen have actually lived up to their high responsibility. Thank you so much.
Nun kommen natürlich Dankesworte.
Now, of course, we are going to listen to some words of thanks, and it will be in the order of conferring the awards. Ms. Camilleri.
Ladies and gentlemen, Excellencies, I'm truly grateful to the Roland Berger Foundation for the honor of having been selected as one of the recipients of the Human Dignity Award for this year. It's an honor I share with all of my colleagues at JRS Malta and with every member of the Jesuit Refugee Service worldwide. Because as a colleague and friend once told me many years ago, when one of us is honored, all of us are honored because we share the same mission: to accompany, serve, and defend refugees. JRS, the organization I have been a part of for almost 20 years, has a special charisma, that of accompanying refugees. We have a profound commitment to accompany people on at least part of their journey. It's not easy to accompany refugees because ultimately our work is a daily encounter with great suffering. Every day we meet people who have experienced war and violations of their rights in their country and in the countries through which they traveled. Contrary to what many think, the so-called Central Mediterranean route, the route between Libya and Italy, or Malta sometimes, is not only an irregular migration route. it's also, I would say, primarily an asylum route, because the majority of people entering Europe through that route are found to be in need of protection. The statistics for Malta show this very clearly, and I think it's true also for Italy. And it should come as no surprise, because the majority of people coming through this route are from countries which are torn apart by conflict and governed by very dictatorial regimes. Countries like Somalia, Eritrea, Syria, and now Libya. From our experience, the search for protection takes asylum seekers through countries where the protection and their human rights are anything but guaranteed. So people move on in their hope to find protection. Because at the end of the day, what people are looking for is not just survival. They're not just looking to stay alive until tomorrow. They're looking for a community where they can belong, where they can receive support, but where they can also give. They're looking for a place which they can call home. So they move on and they arrive in Europe. However, unfortunately, very often it's not their need for protection which shapes the response to their arrival. Malta, but Malta's not alone. I think Malta is one of a number of EU member states that have adopted this approach, treats illegal migration primarily as a security issue. And the EU, too, over the years, has invested millions in border control, focusing on stemming the flow rather than on providing protection. So migrants are forced to use ever more dangerous routes to find protection, and every year, thousands of men, women, and children die in their search for protection. I think for me, accompanying refugees in Malta, which is strategically located in the middle of the Mediterranean, has brought home in a very real way the harsh reality of death at Europe's borders. One incident remains in my mind. In October 2013, a boat carrying over 400 men, women, and children was shipwrecked off the coast of Lampedusa, and some of the survivors were brought to Malta. It's estimated that 260 people died in that shipwreck, and 60 to 100 of them were children. I think as long as I live, I will never forget the experience of witnessing all that pain and anguish. There was no one who had not lost someone. People lost their wives, their husbands, their children, their parents. Some parents lost all of their children. They watched them drown in front of their eyes, and they could do nothing about it. And for me, the tragedy of these deaths is compounded by the reality that it does not have to be like this. It is perfectly possible to put in place safe and legal ways for people to reach a place of safety where they can find protection. There are different ways: humanitarian visas, resettlement, broadening the rules on family reunification. But to do it, we have to be willing to do so. We have to be willing to take the risk. For those who survive and make it to Europe, the journey is not over, and the search for protection continues. And JRS meets people in detention, as you heard, from the moment of their arrival, and we accompany people throughout the asylum procedure and even beyond, whether they are rejected or whether they receive protection. Many times our work is an encounter with our own powerlessness, because much as we want to, there are so many things we cannot change. We do make a difference in individual cases, but sometimes the bigger picture seems like it doesn't change. But beyond all of this, I think it's true to say that our work is also a daily encounter with resilience, hope, faith, and courage in the people we serve. I am constantly astounded by their willingness to continue, to move on, to build a new life in spite of everything that they've been through. It's also an encounter with solidarity and support, sometimes from very unexpected places. This, for us, sustains us, as does the knowledge that we don't work alone. There are many other people, other NGOs, individuals who are committed to human rights and who show untiring courage in their refusal to carry on in spite of the obstacles. This award means a lot to us in JRS Malta because it's an affirmation of the work we do and of what we stand for, which I think can be very simply summed up in the phrase, something which one of our directors once said: people are more important. The award encourages us to continue to work together to ensure that asylum seekers arriving in Malta are treated with dignity and that all are truly accepted and respected. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Camilleri. Dr. Fessaha.
Good evening, His Excellency, Foundation Berger. And I'm so happy and honored to have this award from a foundation who work on human rights and who take care of the human rights, and he make all the efforts. I'm so honored. And all of us, in the name of the refugees who are in Ethiopian refugee camp, in Sudan, wherever they are, Eritrean, I thank you very much, the Foundation Berger. We are an organization, an NGO called Gandhi. Gandhi is working with the refugees since 15 years. Work in Sudan, in Libya, in Sinai. And we have been passing 750 people from the torture of Sinai, from the hand of the trafficker, without paying any money in the desert of Sinai. With one person who is a Muslim, Salafit, Bedouin from Sinai, Sheikh Mohammed al-Bilal, who has been a great help for 4 years and a half, rescuing our life. We saved many people from torture, from removing the organ, and we have been assisting these people after that also. And we heard such many horrible stories. We met also some people that they removed their kidney because they could not pay the ransom. We met many women that they have been raped so many times that they was under the shock, or they had children and they refused to accept the children also. So we take care of them, and to these people we hand over to UNHCR, which it take care on the resettlement base. The other people who are in the prison of Egyptian prison, who are arrested for illegal immigration, to that people also we rescue almost 4,200 people from the prison, women, children, men, and we take them with the agreement, with the help of the Ethiopian government. Although they are Eritrean, they give them the laissez-passer, and then we provide the ticket, and we take them to Ethiopia. Take them to Ethiopia, and then Ethiopian, they accept them, and they put them in the refugee camp. And then from the refugee camp, they can escape to Sudan, to try the other road to go to Libya also. And on the other hand, we have many children in the refugee camp. They are orphan or children who are of the women, destitute women, or raped women in Sinai. So we give them psychological assistance, and we give food and shelter to these children. We see every day in our life, the suffering, the torture of human being, the dignity of human being repressed. And when I heard that the European community, they are making a point, they are realizing all this immigration problem, and they forget what is behind of each person, what he passed through. I remember last 2013, when Lampedusa happened, I was there for 1 month. And the boat was sank at the 800th meter from the coast. Then Eritrean government, they said, they are not Eritrean. They are Somalian, they are Sudanese. But the 520, they are all Eritrean. And the 368, the one the dead, there was Eritrean. And when I heard that European Parliament, they want to give funds to the Eritrean government, then I feel very, very sad, because how can you sponsor, how can you give money to a dictator? Because we see every day in the boat there are majority Syrian, second number is Eritrean. They are not escaping from the country because to look for a job or to look for a better life. They didn't want to leave the house, but they are forced, because in Eritrea there is military service from 16 to 52, 16 years to 52. So it means that you are losing all your life. You cannot study, you cannot work, you cannot do anything. So this is, I make an appeal to the people who has the power or the power on talking about this problem, about rescuing the people, that don't make it only an emergency, something like an emergency, always. Because when they came in Lampedusa, Mr. Alfano, Mr. Letta, and Mr. Barroso and Mastrom, they came, and they promised a lot of things. I was there. They promised that they will help the refugee in a different way, never it will happen like that, and all the story. And then Mare Nostrum was created, and it was a great help. But Italy was left alone. She cannot manage all the other situation. It happened that 2 weeks ago, one boat with 950 people sank. And inside this boat, there was 100 children and 300 women. So they left Mare Nostrum and they put Frontex, but that's the result. And now there is another option. They are saying they will help the refugee in any way, making a point. But I hope that it doesn't remain only on paper, that it has been like last time on 2030. Because the refugee they are expecting, if the point is to help the dictator just to solve the problem of a migrant coming to Europe, that's not the solution. So also there is the possibility to create this humanitarian corridor to save these people, trying to find a peaceful place where they can go and apply, because each refugee can pay his own ticket and he can afford to do it. And please, I make an appeal to the Minister of Foreign Affairs that please do it a long-term, a concrete work at the European level to help the refugee, not only as an emergency. Always it is emergency. We are there because there is an emergency, because a boat sank. We have to do something for that. We have to save human life. It's not only protecting the border, as some countries, they want to do it. So my appeal is to the European community and to the people who can do that job on the name of the refugee. I thank you if you do that work, and thank you very much for everything, and thank you for your solidarity, Mr. Berger, to the refugee, to the poor people in Africa, to the orphan and all that. Thank you very much for all your job. Thank you.